assessing the company corporate competence through an accreditation scheme, construction line or safe contractor, or all of these types of things which are badges, which, yes, you pay your £125 or whatever it is, and you get your annual pass. If you're lucky, somebody comes out and does an audit on you, which is sample based and continues to uphold your accreditation for another 12 months. That's as good as far as it goes. It is still incumbent upon you as the employer of that man that turns up to maintain that fire extinguisher, which may sound like a really small thing, but actually you need to be confident that he is competent to do the job that he's doing. It might only be a fire extinguisher, but it's part of your wider life safety system. What I said in the launch down in London, and I'll repeat it now, is that until such time as people in yours and my position have that fire extinguisher man turn up and say, sorry mate, you're not coming on site to do the job because I don't believe you've got the competence to do it and you've been unable to demonstrate it to me, go away. And by the way, we're not paying your company until we send somebody that is able to demonstrate their competency. Until we start doing that, then suppliers and contractors that we engage with routinely will continue to potentially not invest in their people to the level that they should do, and that we will be accepting maybe a risk that we are ignorant to. And we'll only know that risk has been realised when it's too late.
Procurement.
Indeed. And
yeah,
I'm the person on that side of the house myself, so that's why I asked the question.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we're strong enough. We're British, aren't we? We don't like to say no. We don't like to say go away. We should be challenging more.
Perpetuating the problem by not speaking
up.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we do rely, going back to procurement, we do rely on our procurement functions. We believe our procurement functions are doing a robust and in-depth assessment of an organisation before they're elected onto your company's preferred supply chain, for example. But that's only commercial checks, it's superficial checks around the company's marketing literature and their ability to show various certifications and standards. We need to get right below and start looking at the people that are doing the job. Challenge more. Thank you. Sorry, you had it, yes.
Yeah, it was just, I enjoyed the presentation very much.
Thank you.
What I take from that is that actually competence is a system of hierarchy, isn't it? So in other words, somebody's got to check the person that says they're competent.
Yes.
And in order for that person to be competent, that person themselves is going to be competent. So it goes up the line until you come to, as you said, it's the director that eventually has to set the level of competence. But therein lies the paradox.
Indeed.
Because often directors themselves are incompetent.
Yes. And that's really absolutely spot on. Yeah. So all I would say to that is we'll come on to that in the next 3 slides. I didn't want to but no, you're absolutely right. But I think what the senior management team and the leadership team that run your organisation need to know is they need to know their obligation. They may not be competent themselves, but they must know that they need to go to a competent source to ensure that they've done what's reasonable of them, to ensure that they've got somebody that's competent to assess the competence of their people. So this comes back to, again, if I take the appointed roles again, you've got a senior manager that knows nothing about HV, for example. So what does he do is he does some desktop checks through a process. He appoints an authorising engineer that he knows is competent, that he's able to prove, and he relies on the guidance and the recommendation of that authorising engineer to recommend an appointment of an authorised person. So he's discharged his responsibility through a competent means, not because he's competent, but he knows what he has to do. So it's about knowing what's right, and I don't think you need to be, nobody can be competent at everything. It's this sponge thing again, isn't it? We'll get saturated.
Actually, recognising that they need to do something is actually a measure of competence.
It is, and I guess the question you've got to ask is that recognition proportional and appropriate to how he's applying that to whatever it is that he's got to do down the chain? And I'd suggest probably it is.
That self-awareness that you mentioned earlier.
Very much
If you're
so.
self-aware that you need to go to a competent person,
Yes.
then you're
There
following the
needs to be,
process.
there needs to be a reward for competence, and that's your link back into HR.
Ah, no. Okay. Now that's really interesting. So that's one of the reasons that we wanted to ensure that the systems were integrated, because when you accept an authorised or a competent role, an appointment, if you like, then nobody does that for the fun of the job. There has to be a consideration, because the risk profile associated with that person fulfilling that function is greater than the person that's non-appointed. So that's only reasonable that you're rewarded for taking on additional responsibility.
Well,
And-
there's only, I think in the JSP 375, there's only 13 places where you states where I will hereby certify this piece of kit safe.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I think, and the other thing, of course, is if you are an authorised, if something goes wrong, heaven forbid, and you're in front of the man with the curly wig, and you've had an appointment, and then your colleague, who happens to be the supervisor, for example, who's culpable in the scenario, whatever it might be, the judge is going to pay a higher weighting of blame onto the guy that's in the authorised role by his inferred increased competency. So the risk actually is greater, therefore you're right, the reward should be commensurate with that. As to what that consideration is another question.
Down to the individual's native wit and cunning.
Indeed.
Ready, Steve?
Yes, thank you.